It's too big, it's too big. Hey guys, welcome to Real Simple Cooking School. I'm your teacher, Dawn, and today I'm going to show you how to frost and stack a layer cake. The method I'm going to show you, it works with any frosting, your favorite homemade frosting or even like a tub frosting. I'm going to show you one of my favorite really easy chocolate frostings. And all it takes is 24 ounces, that's usually like 2 bags of semi-sweet chocolate melted. And then I cooled it to room temperature, so it really shouldn't feel warm at all to your hands. And then 3 sticks of unsalted butter. You can do this with a hand mixer, that's what I'm going to use today, or a stand mixer if you have it. But I'm just going to go ahead and get the butter started. Start slow so it doesn't go all over the place. And even if it's not totally room temp, it'll soften pretty quickly with the force of the machine. And we just want to get this nice and creamy before we add the chocolate. Okay, this is looking really good. So with the mixer on low, I'm just going to start to slowly add the chocolate. And it can kind of splatter, so go slowly. We'll get this worked in first. Okay, I'm just going to stop for a second. Make sure I get all of this butter off the beaters. Come back and finish the job with those, but just want to give the frosting a stir, make sure we've incorporated all of that butter that was on the sides. We'll add the rest of the chocolate. And then some lucky son of a gun can lick this bowl. Okay, so let's finish this job. So once that's all really evenly incorporated, we're ready to go. Okay, and I'm just going to give it one more pass around the bowl, make sure all that chocolate and butter is evenly incorporated. Now, if at any point the frosting feels like too soft, in fact, this might seem like a little soft, just pop it in the fridge for like 10 minutes, give it a stir, and check again. And keep doing that until it feels spreadable, but like it's gonna hold its shape. So I'm gonna pop this in the fridge for a few minutes. Okay, so while my frosting cools just a touch, I'm gonna show you how to prep your cakes. So I baked these actually yesterday, and that's one of the keys to easy frosting and easy stacking of the cake. The cake itself has to be completely cool. If you try and even turn it out warm, sometimes it can fall apart, and it's just a lot sturdier once it's totally cooled to room temp. You can see that these cakes, they domed a little bit. In fact, it looks like our oven might be a little uneven. It's a little shorter on the side than it is on the side, but that's okay. One thing you can do is level off the top. So I'm gonna start with a serrated knife, and I'll go from the taller edge, and I like to get down level with the cake just so I can see where I'm headed. And I'm just going to use my non-dominant hand, put it gently on top of the cake, and just go right across the top to help even out some of that doming. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this is going to give the cake a flat bottom to stack on. Plus you get a little snack. You can always take more off, but it's really hard to put it back on, so go a little at a time. So this is going to be my bottom layer. So I'm going to put it regular flat side down. But before I put it on my cake stand, I'm going to show you another trick. I like to decorate my cakes right on the thing that I'm going to serve it on, whether it's a cake stand or a plate, but it can get really messy if you don't set yourself up. So regular piece of parchment, and I'm just going to cut it into 3 strips. And then I'm going to lay these sort of into a triangle on my cake stand, just like this. And then you put the cake on top. Now the parchment's gonna catch any frosting, any sprinkles or cocoa powder, powdered sugar that may fall on the plate, and you'll just sneak them out when you're done. So the bottom's ready to go. Let's even out the top before we start to frost. Now you could just flip the cake, put your flat side on the top, you'd be good to go. This guy's like a little wonky, so we'll even him out too. Let's see how we did. One great way to use this up is like in a little parfait or a trifle, layer it with whipped cream or ice cream. So good. Okay, I'm a little aggressive on the front end. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here, and then we can frost the bottom. Let's grab our frosting. Okay, so my frosting is cooled just slightly, so it's really spreadable, but it's not so soft that the cakes are gonna smush it out the sides. So I've got my bottom layer, my parchment strips lined up. So I'm just gonna start with like about a cup right in the center. Maybe a little more. And it's okay, I actually want to spread the frosting beyond the edge. So we're gonna use my favorite tiny offset spatula. And you just, from the center, working your way out, gently push the frosting toward the edge. Actually, I think we could use maybe a little more frosting in the middle, because I do want to go beyond that edge. I'll show you why. That extra frosting is going to help cover the outside of the cake once we put the top layer on. And again, get down low, get level with the cake so you can see if you're making an even top. That looks pretty good. Go ahead and give it a spin. That's the other reason doing this on a cake stand or a plate is nice. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now for my top layer. Now, I did level this off, but to get a really nice presentation, I do want to put the flat bottom side facing up. So just center that right on top. And you don't have to really squish it down, but just give it a little encouragement to settle on that frosting. And then another cup or so on top. And I want to do the same thing that I did in the middle layer. I want a little more frosting so it comes over the edge. I like to use sort of a light touch to keep that top layer in place. Sometimes that middle layer frosting can be a little slippery. But once we get everything stuck together, it'll be really secure. I'm not gonna go for like a perfect cake, mostly because I can't do it. So we're gonna come back and add some swoop-de-whoop-des after. But as you can see, I've got like plenty of frosting on the top and in the middle. So come back, a little bit of frosting on the offset's okay. It actually helps keep things moving, but you just wanna spread that frosting from top to bottom to cover the sides. And if you get to a place like right here, there's a little less frosting, come back, put a little bit more on your offset and just paint it in. How do we do? Pretty good. I'm just gonna come back and make sure my frosting goes all the way to the bottom. If you really want like perfect flat sides, you can grab a bench scraper, line up the side with the side of the cake, and just spin. And that'll give you that really even outside. To finish it off, like I said, I'm gonna do just a little swoop-de-whoop-de action on the top. So I'm gonna add a little bit more frosting. And then just come in with my offset and give it some waves. Okay, and then to finish it off, I like a little sprinkle. Totally optional, but it makes sort of a regular chocolate cake feel really special. You could use nuts, you could use toasted coconut. Now, for the moment of truth. You can see how the parchment, I've got frosting, I've got sprinkles, and we're just gonna slide out one piece at a time. Nice. There we go. Last one. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Nice. And a pretty clean cake stand, if you ask me. So the only thing, I like to stick my cakes, especially after they're frosted, in the fridge for 5-10 minutes just to give everything a chance to marry. So I'm gonna pop this in the fridge, and we're gonna come back in a few minutes and have a slice. I don't know, guys, this is a pretty good looking cake, but there's only one way to be sure how we did. Let's cut into it. Hot tip, if you guys notice, I'm using a serrated knife, which regardless of what type of cake is underneath here, will cut through it. So if you ever encounter like a little resistance on the way down, just give it a little bit of a seesaw and you'll get through just fine. But this is cutting pretty nicely. And then just go back in with the knife and wow, not bad, right? And I don't know, if we can serve it upright, why not? And then let's cut a few pieces for my friends. Fork for you, fork for you. And take a look at that. Not bad, right? Guys, get in the kitchen, make a layer cake. I'm gonna eat this one, and I'll see you back here next time on Real Simple Cooking School. So long. Like what you see here on Real Simple Cooking School? Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.